versus Astros. This ALCS 2022 is sure to go off like a bang. The Houston Astros have Justin Verlander taking the mound versus Jameson Taillon of the New York Yankees, who just completed their series, who will be flying into Houston and arrive around 2 a.m., not get much rest, but the Astros are ready to go. Eric and I are going to talk about Altuve, about what Dusty Baker says about the players' confidence in their leadoff hitter, and what to expect in this latest edition of the saga that is known as the Astros versus the Evil Empire of New York. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
Well, they can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive that I'm ready and freaking ready to go for this Yankees versus Astros. Always Astros.
If you're ready for this postseason, if you're ready to face the Yankees again, why don't you subscribe to the Locked On Astros podcast on YouTube? We've already reached 5,000 subscribers. Now we're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. So do your part. Just hit subscribe. Give us a like while you're there. And on your way to work, just make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And yes, my voice is a little hoarse, so we'll have to deal with that. But other than that, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous about the Yankees lineup. Aaron Judge has struggled a little bit, but the Yankees have the fifth lowest team batting average of a team that won a 5-game series in the playoffs of 182. So they've struggled. The Guardians pitching has limited them. They did hit some home runs in that playoffs, namely that 3-run homer by Stanton in the first inning of Game 5. That really put the Guardians in no way to catch up with with the Yankees, because there's no way that offense is going to score that many runs that quickly. And then they kept on scoring more runs. I think the final was like 5-1.
Yeah.
So it just was out of reach. And I think that the Guardians, I know they're playing safe with Shane Bieber. He's coming back from injury, but this is a do or go home. Why don't you start your ace? Go ahead and start Shane Bieber. I know it's on short rest, and just go out there. You don't start some journeyman guy, reliever, and he just give up a meatball to Stanton, and now they're going home.
Yeah, I was shocked that it was a bullpen game, because before this game occurred, I believe that I even said that Francona was the guy that I thought would be the reason why the Guardians overcame the Yankees. Aaron Boone has coached his way out of many playoff games or out of many series. And there are a lot of Yankees fans that it's no mystery. They have a lot of disdain for their manager. They don't have a lot of faith in him. What's interesting is just a few games ago, they were booing Aaron Judge. They booed their own guy. I mean, Altuve went 0 for 4. We didn't boo him. He's our guy. Like, you don't boo your guys, okay? Like, if Aaron Judge goes and plays for the Padres next year, you boo him if you're a Yankees fan. You don't boo him while he's on your team. I don't care how hardcore or how Bronxy you are or how you grew up in New York and you got this New York state of mind. You don't boo your guy. Like, you stick with them. But I guarantee you, we'll pick up the slack. We'll boo the heck out of this guy. And I am excited, Eric, about this matchup, not just because we have Yordan Alvarez, we have Alex Bregman, and yes, Jose Altuve, but we have Yuli Gurriel who's caught fire. We also have a pitching staff that I think is second to none. And the Yankees are going to run into the buzzsaw That is the Astros pitching, both starting and our relief pitching, our back end as well. And I like what we did in New York this year. And I like to think that Christian Javier will get a nod in game 4 in New York, where he pitched a combined no-hitter, 14 strikeouts in 7 innings, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, so the Astros are definitely they're facing a team that they've beaten twice in the past. They faced them in 2019, they faced them in 2017, and they also faced them in a wild card game in 2015. They've taken care of business all 3 times. So the Astros have taken care of the Yankees in the past, and the main reason why the Astros have done that is because of a guy named Jose Altuve. Yes, he went 0 for 16 in the ALDS. Yes, he looked like he was swinging out of his shoes in game 3. Went in 18 innings. He went 0 for 8. But Jose Altuve in his career versus the Yankees is batting .327 with 17 hits, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs, 11 runs in 14 games. And we know what 2 of those home runs are. The walk-off against Aroldis Chapman. But unfortunately, Aroldis Chapman's not going to be here this year. So that's, but I think that what we're going to see is Altuve getting back to who he is. And before we go back too much in Altuve, I do want to say that Bieber is coming back from an injury.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason why they didn't want to bring him back on short rest. But at the end of the day, it's do or die. So in this case, the Guardians were going home because they didn't put their best pitcher on a mound. So yes, so I think that we were talking about this before the show. Dusty Baker was showing some confidence in Jose Altuve. And Altuve, it was like, yeah, it's nice to know that the manager still has confidence in him. Of course, you're a future Hall of Famer. Dusty Baker's not going to all of a sudden be like, you know what? I'm going to go and drop you to 9th in order, and I'm going to go ahead and sit you for game 1. Yeah. Jose Altuve, you haven't done anything for us in the playoffs in the past, 80 games or something. So I'm going to sit you. That's not what Dusty Baker's going to say. Of course, Dusty Baker's going to say some nice words about Jose Altuve. And of course, Jose Altuve is going to say, oh, that's so sweet that he says that. But I think that Altuve just needs to get back to doing what he does best, and that's just getting on base. And if you have to drop a bunt to get your first hit, break out of this playoff slump, do that.
Yeah, exactly. And, there were some words that Alex Bregman had to say of Jose Altuve, and he just said, look, he's our guy. Full confidence in him for a fact that he can get out there and he can hit the ball any day of the week. And we're not worried about him. We are definitely not concerned. I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, should we be concerned? Look, he's Jose Altuve. He's a human being. He's going to go through slumps. He's not going to do great in one series, but in another, who comes to play when it's the Yankees? It's Jose Altuve. Who comes ready and prepared at the plate is Jose Altuve. And I believe he's going to set the table nicely in this game 1. It would be nice, Eric, for the Astros to set the tone early, for the Astros to put the Yankees pitching on their heels, and for Justin Verlander, as he said, he has adjusted some things in his pitching motion. He has had to tweak some things since his calf injury, and he said he's ready to go for ALCS game 1. So we've got Verlander. Do you think that we are going to go with the same order in the first 3 games that we did in the ALDS, or do you think they're going to flip McCullers and Valdez?
I think they're going to go in the same order. If you look at it's just what Dusty Baker does. You're going to put the lefty in between the 2 righties, but in his career, Valdez has struggled versus the Yankees. He's 0-1 with a 6.75 ERA with 10.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. He has allowed 4 home runs versus the Yankees. McCullers is 2-0 with a 2.97 ERA with a 10.7 strikeout per 9 inning rate. He's allowed 3 home runs. And then Christian Javier, I believe that he is probably going to be the 4th starter. He is 1-0 with a 0.60 ERA with 12.6 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. So, yes, that's a small sample size. He allowed 1 home run, but still, that just shows the dominance that Christian Javier's had. And Verlander, the veteran, he's faced the Yankees quite often. He's 9-7 with a 3.44 ERA. He has 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, and he's allowed, you ready for this? 22 career home runs. But that's over many, many innings. I think that's 146 innings pitched.
Wow. Now, I was looking at the series, Eric, and it looks like we are 9-4, I believe, against the Yankees in the playoffs since
9-5.
2015. 9-5. I'm sorry. Thank you. 9-5 against the Yankees in the playoffs. They have yet to beat us, knock on wood. And the difference between, I think, this Astros team and any other playoff team is the experience bodes well with them. They know that just because they've won these first few series, that it doesn't mean they're automatically going to win this, that they're going to have to put in the work, that they're going to have to work around Judge, work around Stanton. You got Harrison Bader. Now, you had a collision today. I haven't heard the word on Hicks, but
He actually came out and said that he's done for the season.
Hicks is done for the season.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he said that he's very disappointed, but his season's now done. Like
Wow.
you could tell. I mean, this is a guy that's dealt with injuries. He's missed a lot of time this season, and this is actually a big loss for the Yankees. Yes, he is somebody that didn't play a lot in the postseason, but this is a guy that normally that does well against the Astros. I believe he has a couple. He had a home run, a big home run, or in one of the Astros wins, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry, one of the Yankees wins this season. So that is a big loss. And yes, we'll talk about a matchup in a second here. But yeah, I think that Hicks is going to be a big loss. And maybe he can wear something nice while he's watching a game, maybe something from Rhone. Do you think, Brett?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say that again. Someone was calling my name in the other room.
Okay,
Say
I
that
was
again.
like, Hicks can be sitting on the sideline wearing something nice, like maybe something from Rhone.
Yes, that's it. So I'm so sorry. Yes, dress shirts are tricky. It's hard to find one that fits right while also being comfortable and matches your style. Plus, with all the hustle and bustle you got going on, you need a dress shirt that looks good enough to get the deal done at work, but is comfortable enough to play catch with your kid after dropping him off at practice. The dress shirt was due for a radical reinvention, and Rhone stepped up to the challenge. The Rhone's commuter shirt is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible shirt known to man, and here's why. Mobility is everything. Rhone's comfortable four-way switch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. Looking good is easy. It's time to feel confident with a wrinkle-free shirt without the hassle. With Rhone's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the shirt. It's that easy. Odor-free technology with Gold Fusion anti-odor technology. You'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. On top of that, Rhone is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. The commuter shirt can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to Rhone.com/lockedon and use a promo code LOCKEDON to save 20% off of your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to Rhone, RHONE.com/lockedon and use the code LOCKEDON.
Alrighty, and guys, thank you once again for helping us get to 5,000 subscribers. Now our goal is to get to reach 10,000 subscribers, and I don't know if we can get it through the by the end of the World Series, but that's something that we can kind of reach out for. So go and subscribe to us on YouTube and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Check us out. So I think it was Jay asked about the pitching matchup. So in game one, it's likely going to be Jameson Taillon versus Justin Verlander. Taillon has a 0-1 record versus the Astros in his career with a 4.58 ERA, 6.9 strikeouts per 9 innings. And if you look at what he's done against the Astros this year, Alex Bregman has a 3-run homer against him, or at least a homer against him, and Alvarez also has a home run against him. And so they scored at least 6 runs against him in that game. So in game two, it's likely going to be Luis Severino versus Framber Valdez. That has not been confirmed yet, but that's likely the matchup. In game 3, we're going to have old friend Garrett Cole. He's going to be pitching against Lance McCullers Jr. So you know that they used to be buddies, so they're going to be probably facing each other. So Garrett Cole is 1-2 with a 2.57 ERA with 9 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched against the Astros in his career. And then game 3, it's probably going to be today's star, Nestor Cortez, who's 1-1 with a 8.04 ERA with 7.5 Ks per 9 innings pitched versus Christian Javier, who's, like I already said, 1-0 with the 0.60 ERA with 12.6 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched.
You know, Eric, I'll say this. I know the Yankees are ready. I know they're motivated. Nobody questions the Yankees' drive to win because they've been in a drought themselves and unable to get to the Fall Classic, whether it's at the hands of the Astros or the Red Sox. And we know that creates a hunger in a team, that creates a desire and a drive. And these are professional athletes. And, you can't ignore the fact that Aaron Judge has had one of the best offensive seasons of all time in Major League Baseball. With all that being said, no disrespect to the Yankees, but this Astros pitching staff from beginning to end, someone said, what do the Astros need to do in order to basically get the Yankees in the series? And I think their offense does need to show up. Their offense needs to hit better than what it did against Seattle. And the pitchers just need to neutralize the Yankees offense. Now, if the pitchers do their job like they did in Seattle and the starters can allow fewer runs, Justin Verlander can get off to a good start, then the Astros scoring 4 or 5 runs in a game will be enough for them to defeat the Yankees. You've got to keep the ball in the ballpark. I think in key situations, I don't know who's hitting behind Judge come this series, but you've got to consider pitching around him or just throwing stuff that you know he's going to swing and miss. You can't pipe any fastballs. You can't put anything in the strike zone for him to hit because he will take the ball out of the park. And as you saw today, he could change a game quickly. You know, in that Guardians game, the Guardians got bases loaded, and Ramirez hit a ball that if it had not gone foul would have been a grand slam. And I mean, he hit it in the second deck foul, and that could have changed the entire game. It could have been a 4-4 tie. No telling what happens at that point. So that's a perfect example of making mistakes and what a mistake can do. If Verlander keeps the ball in the yard, the defense does their job when the ball's in play, and the hitters come out swinging and put up a run here or there. I don't need 4 or 5 run innings. I need a run in the first, 2 runs in the second. You know what I'm saying? I need us to sprinkle runs and kind of do a reverse of what the Mariners did, but hold the lead. Where whenever we countered with the run, the Mariners would score like 1 or 2 runs in that game 1. I think the Astros have the better pitching staff where if they do that, if they play cat and mouse, we get 2, they get 1. I think our pitching keeps them at bay long enough in order to get the victory for game 1. And James Cook is throwing in, look at this, coming in hot with the WRC plus, Jordan Alvarez, 193, and expected WOBA, 462. Thank you, sir, for throwing those advanced stats at us. We do appreciate you guys.
He had Judges here too.
Oh, Judge, WRC plus 163 and expected WOBA 407. Nice. Look at that, dude. James coming through in the clutch. We'll call him stat producer James today.
Okay. What the Astros need to do is not do any you're my daddy or anything like Josh Naylor did, because Yankees fans gave it to him. Like he went 0 for 5 or 0 for 4 in today's game, but every time he went to bat, they would start saying, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" and everything. So that was actually kind of funny to watch, and Naylor deserves that. I know he did that during the regular season. This is not something that's new for him, but the Astros have been known to do some antics, and you know that Altuve chant's going to start as well. So.
Oh yeah, we know it's coming. Look, Yankees fans, that's fine. Just do your potty mouth celebrations, Altuve, whatever you got to do. Boo the guy. Just continue to boo. The Astros are prepared for this series. The Astros, and this is the ALCS that I wanted to see. I think everybody wanted to see the Yankees versus the Astros in the ALCS. I think a Guardians Astros ALCS would have been a little bit of a letdown for the national story and the national media. So I'm here for it. I think this could go 6 games. I hope it doesn't go 7 games, and I hope it ends in 6 games with the Astros on top. There's no telling. A series can change on a dime. A hit, a stolen base, a pass ball can do a million things to change the course of how a game is going. But the Astros have the experience. The Astros have the personnel, and I think they take care of business. And I think they're able to move on to the next round.
All right, so I know that the Yankees are probably flying. They're taking that not necessarily the red eye, but they probably didn't do a full celebration, but they're having a little bit of drink on the way, and what would be good after you drink a little bit, and you need a little snack, maybe a Built Bar, right, Brett?
Yeah, now I don't know if I want to offer the Yankees an option to refuel and get ready for the game. So let's just say, excuse me, Built Bars are for the Astros, okay? If you haven't heard of Built Bar Puffs yet, then you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough. Covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to the new flavor, your new favorite flavor, cookie dough chunk puffs. They have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All the joys of eating real cookie dough without the hassle of making it. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and there are a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to built.com now. Snag a box for you and the family. It will be the perfect treat. Or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. Like all Built Bars, the new cookie dough chunk puff is covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're healthy and tasty. Chocolate covered cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture. What's great about Built is that all their bars are made with a collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff, whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just need to grab a quick bite. Built is a perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, the fat, and the sugar. Grab a Built Bar today. Use a promo code LOCKEDON15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKEDON15 at Built.com.
Alrighty, so speaking of which, the Yankees are beginning in pretty late tonight. I know they're going to have probably a very subdued celebration, but they're going to celebrate. As Dusty said when he was interviewed, when you have a chance to party, you party. And that's from Dusty Baker.
So are you saying Dusty Baker's encouraging the Yankees to party like all through the night?
Yeah. I think
That's
he's
awesome.
expecting them to just continue to party on the flight and have as much Crown and Cokes, whatever you want. Just
Hey,
drink.
Dusty sent some of his wine from his vineyard in California, I bet. Hey, Bethany says this. She asked a question. She says, "Do y'all want Garcia as a starter or in the bullpen for the rest of the postseason?" Ooh, the rest of the postseason. Let's just stick with the ALCS. Eric, I think he's earned the right to be someone who comes out of the bullpen. But does his performance, is it so good that you're saying, you know what? We need to let this guy pitch. He's throwing nails right now as a starter.
Yes, I think that Luis Garcia did make a big statement saying, "Hey, I deserve to be your game 4 starter." But we saw that he wasn't so reliable at the end of the season. And who was Mr. Reliable? Christian Javier. He was the guy that was down the stretch. He was the guy that was the one who was like leading the league in strikeouts if he would have qualified for that number of innings pitched. So I think that while Luis Garcia did his job, I think that his role on this roster will be exactly what we saw. He'll be the guy that comes in, eats up 5 innings if you need to. Let's say you have a starter exit and you need somebody to pitch, you could do that. Now, the problem is that Christian Javier has not pitched in a while. So he has not pitched since, I believe, game 1 of the ALDS. So that would be about 10 days since he's pitched. So the question is, do you pitch him maybe 1 inning in game 1 just to get him back on the mound? And then he could still start in game 4. So that's something that Dusty Baker needs to decide. But we do
Yeah.
need to talk in a second about the roster alignment.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to use him as both in one series. I know just to get him on the mound, I I just think I think you go by feel. I think you go by the player. If the player is able to simulate some kind of start or something in between now and then in that fourth game, so he can get ready, so he can get warm. I think you have that there. We have Hunter Brown who's gone multiple innings. Um, who knows? I mean, maybe you get a Javier Brown. Maybe you get a Garcia Javier Brown. I mean, those three guys, if you're talking about clinching a series in a game 5 or something like that, Eric, and you want to deploy those three guys as a weapon, that's pretty much an unstoppable force right there.
So who's
If you
your
know what I mean.
game 4 starter then?
Well, no, I'm just saying, well, okay. I didn't think that through. Thank you. Maybe your game four starter is Jose Urquidy. I don't know. I'm just saying, using those three guys, if you're able to. Okay, let me rephrase that. If you're able to use those three in one game, and it's a clinching game, that would be an amazing combination. I guess I'm just thinking of a perfect scenario here. But yeah, Javier Garcia piggyback, no hitter. There you go. Forrest Whitaker says that. TBS is trying to
Uh,
dwell on a narrative of Yankee revenge. Now, look, yeah, the Yankees want revenge, guys. Make
right.
no bones about it. The Yankees are pissed. The Yankees fans are like, we want Houston after the game. I mean, they are out for figurative blood here.
Right.
They want the Astros baseball heads on a platter. I mean, and they should, because if we were in their shoes, Eric, we would want the same thing.
Yeah, I actually saw what happened. It was an interaction between Curtis Granderson, who used to play for the Yankees, and he made a big deal saying, "Yeah, there's 3 Yankees that are still on the team, and those 3 Yankees need to come up and on the plane ride, they need to say, you know what, guys, this is about revenge for 2017. They denied us from going to the World Series that year, so we need to get our revenge." And so that's what Curtis Granderson was saying. And then Pedro Martinez said, uh, guys, that's all great. I know that 2017 happened, but you got to focus on winning the World Series. If your goal is to get your revenge, you're going to lose sight of winning the World Series. And the best way to get your revenge is by winning the World Series. And the Houston Astros are arrested. They're a good team. They are ready for you. And if you're coming in on short rest and you've used a lot of your pitchers, and this team is ready for you. So you've got to focus on getting to the World Series. Don't focus on this narrative of we got to get revenge. And so Pedro Martinez had our back for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody knows that no matter who the game is against, no matter what game is being played, no matter what game mentally is being played or physically, is both teams have to come out, and if they want to win, they have to do the things they know that they do well. And I love Corey's comment here. He says, "What's crazy is I'm not worried if Urquidy is on the mound because that dude can handle his business. I'm not worried about anybody on the mound. We have 7 bona fide starters we have 4 aces. And that's why in my article that I wrote for 103.7 The Game, I said this is the best Astros playoff team assembled. And I say that simply because I know what this pitching lineup is capable of doing. And I know what this lineup hitting wise is capable of doing. And you have everybody's healthy. Everybody's going. And I know Altuve struggled, but even with Altuve's struggles, the Astros still found a way to win. That speaks volumes of the kind of team that we have.
Yeah, and Justin says, from a Yankees fan, good luck to y'all. It's going to be a dogfight, and Stros have definitely had the Yankees number. So definitely the Astros in the postseason, like with the 9-5 record, they've knocked them out of playoffs 3 years. So that is a big plus for the Astros. This Yankees team was, a lot of people counted them out after, I mean, they were supposed to win 100 and something games, and then they hit this rough patch. They couldn't score anymore, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, we need to fire Aaron Boone." And even after, what was it, game 3 or game 4 of the ALDS, he didn't bring in Holmes, and even Severino came out and said, "Oh, he's our closer. You bring him out. And so a lot of people are like, well, you need to fire Boone. So Boone is really playing for his job here because this is a team that they brag about their 27 rings, and that's something to brag about. But it's been a while since they've done it, so they're going to be out looking for blood. They're going to be coming to Houston, and their offense, I would say, when it's clicking, their offense can be better than the Astros. I just think that the Astros pitching and with their bullpen and the starting pitching, I think there's a slight edge there. That, like you said earlier in the show, can the Astros score enough? That's the problem. So somebody asked, is this a best of 5 or best of 7? This is a best of 7. So we definitely don't want to get to game 7 because game 7 is all cats and dogs living together, and it's all
Cats and dogs living together. That's a horrible visual. I'm a dog guy myself personally, but hey, real quick, I'm going to take a little side note here, a little side jog. I don't know if y'all noticed, I'm wearing this colorway Astros hat. It's like a throwback. It's called a Starry Night version, and it was actually made by a local hat company, and they are called Big City Cap Zone. I was sent this hat by Mr. Job Moscott, who's on Instagram. He is Explicit Ink. He's an artist. He sent it to me. He said, "Thank you so much." He said right here, "I appreciate your show. I know you wanted the Starry Night hat. I gave you the pin and the Space Vaquero pin as well. Hope you like them." He also sent Eric a Space Vaquero, which Vaquero in Spanish is cowboy pin. These are limited pins. And he says he appreciates the show. He watches us every day. So thank you for your support. I mean, you got to go check out this guy's hats on Instagram. They're phenomenal, straight fire. Thank you so much. I had to give him a nod. I told him I would here on the show. But the series is right here, a 2-3-2 series. So you have 2 in Houston, 3 in New York, 2 back in Houston. And we have seen where the Astros have come back to Houston and they've been down 3-2 and they won. Okay. This team, Eric, if they get in a situation where the Yankees have more wins than they do, I'm not necessarily worried because I think this team is built different. I think this team is built for October, and I think this team is built for endurance. Even if a pitcher comes in and gives up a few runs, I think they have the rest of the guys to put the stopgap, kind of like the Flex Seal guy putting the putting the putting the patch on the water leaking from the pipe. I think they've got a massive Flex Seal type stoppage with this bullpen, Eric. And so I like our chances.
It looks like that offense has been struggling a little bit this postseason, not just with the Astros. The Astros have a 217 batting average. The Yankees have a 182 batting average, and they're both moving on to ALCS. So whoever is the better hitting team, I'm not just talking about batting average, I'm talking about OPS, just getting on base and just getting those clutch hits, I think will be the team that wins because the Astros pitching is great. In the playoffs so far, it's 2.25. The bullpen ERA is 0.44. And if you look at the Yankees after today's game, they lowered it a little bit. It's 2.76. And the bullpen ERA is a little bit lower, is a little bit higher than the starters ERA. So I think that if you look at the two teams, they compare pretty well. But I think that the overall team, I think the Astros are going to take care of business. It may take 6 games. You're probably going to lose maybe 2 games at Yankee Stadium. And Justin Verlander will probably come back and pitch in game 5. And now, which Justin Verlander is going to come back? The same guy that's dominated, well, not really dominated, but pitched well against the Yankees in his career? Or the guy that's because he did pitch once against the Yankees in 2022, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. That 1 run was a Stanton home run, and he had 3 strikeouts in that game. So if he pitches like that, the Astros have a good chance to win game 1. Now, if he pitches like he did, where he's the worst pitcher on the Astros staff in the ALDS, then the Astros may find themselves in a 0-1 hole early.
Yeah, definitely. And I just really like where I really like where this is headed. I like the matchups. I like how our pitching sets up, and I really like how we look against this Yankees team. They aren't able to set up their rotation the way they traditionally would. I think that means probably Cole is going in New York, Eric. Um, but if we go up 2-0 and the Astros happen to take game 3 and we go up 3-0, wow. I mean, even if we come back 3-2, we've got 2 games in Houston to lock that down.
Right.
So, again, I like our chances. But look, we're not talking smack here and saying we're definitely going to take the Yankees down. I think it's very doable. I think this series is very winnable for the Astros. But it also hangs in the balance, and anybody can get hot at any time. And let's just hope that the Astros are firing on all cylinders when they get to the stadium in Yankeeville in the Bronx. Hopefully, they can keep that crowd quiet because that is a ruckus crowd. But make no bones about it, New York, our crowd is not too shabby.
On the plus side is that that Cole and Cortez are likely only going to pitch once in the series each because they had to use them to close out the ALDS. So that was advantage there. That the fact that the rain delay happened and it got pushed back to today, and then you have the short turnaround for Yankees coming to Houston. So there is a lot of advantages for the Astros. The Astros have had time to rest. Their bullpen is perfectly healthy. So one thing to kind of wrap up the show, we kind of talked about yesterday. I still think not Will Myers, Jake Myers is left off the playoff roster. I guess I'm thinking Padres already, but I think that Jake Myers is left off the playoff roster, and I don't know. I know that there's only one technically. Anthony Rizzo is the left-handed hitter, but if Benintendi, especially with Hicks going off, Benintendi could be activated and added to the roster. So that would be 2 left-handers. So is there a need for Will Smith? Or are you going to bring somebody like Seth Martinez? Or who else could you be added to the playoff roster?
Seth Martinez, and I was looking at what other people were saying, and you had mentioned his name, and I think if it was the Guardians, I don't think Seth Martinez is a consideration, but I think with this Yankees lineup being heavy right-handed, that Seth Martinez could find his way because I believe he's on the taxi squad if I'm not mistaken. And if he is, then Eric, he has been pitching. They've been doing simulated games. They've been keeping warm. They haven't been sitting around doing nothing, playing Fortnite or whatever games they play when they're off.
That's
But
old, by the way.
Eric, Kyle Tucker still plays Fortnite. He
Okay.
is a build master. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
I've heard firsthand from someone who plays with it. He's actually really good. But I digress. My whole point is I think Seth Martinez is a real reach. Someone said Brandon Belak. No, I just don't think it's going to be like that for this series. And Jake Myers, I just don't think he's ready. I was talking to someone today at the gym, and they said, that Jake Myers injury, I really feel like has affected him more than they've really ever let us on because, Eric, he's had flashes of brilliance when he was in AAA, but he just still does not look like he's full strength. And those 2 at bats he had, he just didn't look great at the plate. You hate it because I think a fully healthy Jake Myers can actually help this team.
Yeah, but is he ready? And Dusty Baker didn't even he started him in game 2, but he only had 2 at bats. Then he took
Right.
him out
That's
right
right.
away, and he had 2 strikeouts. So it's just like I would. It seems like he has more confidence in Dubon and Chas McCormick to play left field. Alvarez is obviously going to play a lot of left field. Now the question is, who's going to DH? Are you going to let do what Dusty Baker does and let Trey Mancini play his way out of it? Or are you going to let Aledmys Diaz get a majority of the at bats at DH?
I say Ledmus Diaz. Heck, I'll be real honest. Frickin' put Hensley in there, bro. Come on. The Duke can hit. Put him in there. Give him a chance. Give the Rook a chance. Let him be an unsung hero. I'm going to end it with this. I want to see Ledmus Diaz have some key playoff moments against the New York Yankees. I think the Astros take care of business in game 1. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think the Astros take care of business in the first two games, actually. I think Farmer Valdez exercises his. I mean, he did pretty good in the last thing. He had some error, that big error that kind of hurt him. But overall, he pitched pretty good. He did the opposite of what Justin Verlander did in this game. He limited the Mariners' offense early, and that's what the Astros need to do against the Yankees as well, especially with Aaron Judge and Stanton. You've got to limit the offense. And so I think the Astros would take the first two games. They may lose game three with in New York with Garrett Cole on the mound. The way the Astros have handled Cortez, I think that they win game four. Game five, Justin Verlander at Yankee Stadium versus Talion again. I think there's a chance that the Astros do win that game, but at the same time, that I don't think the Yankees are just going to lose two games there. So I think that this series will go 6 games. I just don't know exactly which two games the Yankees will win, but I'm going to predict that the Astros are going to win this in 6 games, and they'll go ahead and go to the World Series. And for the first time, there's no Dodgers there waiting for us. There's no Braves there. It's the Padres and the Phillies. And if you look at the two teams, I don't know which team I'm more scared of. I think the Astros have the matchup good against all of them. But let's not look ahead right now. Let's look at what's in front of us, and that's the New York Yankees. Expect a lot of Yankees fans coming to Minute Maid Park tomorrow. So make sure you cheer on your Astros tomorrow. If you're lucky enough to have gotten tickets, make sure you wear your orange. Make sure you scream loud and proud, and make sure you represent H-Town Astros fans, because there's going to be a lot of Yankees fans there, and they're going to be booing Altuve at Minute Maid Park. So go and close those out, Brett.
Yes, and we will not let the boos rain. We will let the cheers rain. Wave your orange towels. Get early, be loud, and stay late. Let's go cheer on the Astros to a 1-0 lead in the ALCS versus the New York Stankies. That's all for myself. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. He is Eric, the man Huysman. You can find him at Eric Talk Stros on Twitter. You also find him on TikTok. He's really driving force behind the Locked On Astros TikTok. So check us out on those socials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see. Maybe we'll get some playoff dances going on TikTok. That's all for now. Let's go. Bury me in the H.